On first down at 10. They go to Potts, and there's Potts, 45-50. Potts going to run away from people. He's at the 20, the 15. Touchdown, Potts. Convoy back here, back to pass, looking for Shea. Shay's got his man beat on the dead run. Touchdown,
Let's driving to get that first down.
That's Green off that left side, big hole, 20-15 and down to the 13-yard line. Gun Shamori. He's got Guthrie next to him. Double wides each side. Rolling out. Shamori. Throwing down in the corner. The catch was made by Stanford.
Third and long, play action. Gonna throw across the middle.
He's intercepted by Hunter Webb. Hunter Webb tipped it. He's gonna run up to 10, and he leaps forward.
And tonight live, Royal Sports Bar Grill, touchdowns and tailgate prime time. A playoff preview. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Crispin along with Jim Webb. We've got a nice crowd here tonight, Monday night at Rivals, and we've got some exciting football action coming up this week. Jim, we also want to tell everybody that on Friday night, I think one of the most historic games at Williamsport High School, probably the biggest game in 30 years, we will do it live Friday night. Thanks to Webb Weekly, thanks to Cable Sports and PA Sports Live. We're all getting together with our sponsors, all getting together to make that happen live Friday night, 6:50 at STA Stadium. We've got coaches, we've got a great lineup of people coming in here tonight.
We do. We have a great playoff atmosphere here. We got Coach Cruz is here, Coach J.C. Kiefer, Coach Eisworth, Coach Tatro from Muncie. We got everything ready to go here, Gary.
It's going to be fun. We also have some giveaways tonight. Okay, do you want to do an early giveaway tonight?
Absolutely.
All right, here's a question for you guys watching tonight online. Now, a week ago, and he added to the total, Bryson Messina of the Montoursville Warriors broke the all-time Lycoming County passing record for yardage. We want you to tell me whose record did he break that was held for quite a few years. First person to tell me who Messina broke which record of a Lycoming County player. He also, by the way, has a chance to break the District 4 record this week.
Can I give him a clue?
Nah, you don't want to give him a clue. That'll be too easy.
Well, he might have been on the other side of the creek.
All right. I know you're going to be sending right now. Just get in there and send us a message. You got the answer, and we're going to hook you up. What are you going to give away tonight, Jim?
We got $25 gift cards right here for Rivals. Come in and enjoy the great food, great atmosphere. Heck, come in tonight and enjoy us and enjoy some football talk.
Be part of the crowd. We've got a lot more coming up. We are going to talk to Sean Tatro, the head coach of the Muncie Indians, and J.C. Kiefer, the head coach of the Montoursville Warriors, when we come right back from Rivals Live. This is, of course, Touchdowns and Tailgates, prime time, a playoff preview. We'll be right back.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations on an unyielding commitment to hometown values and unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield, for fair deals. You're gonna love us.
And once again, we're back here at Rival Sports Bar and Grill. Gary Crispin, Jim Webb, Sean Tatro, coach of the Muncie Indians, and J.C. Kiefer, head coach of the Montoursville Warriors. The Indians, Sean, congratulations. Big win the other day. You're now getting a shot at Sarah again. They beat you in OT the last time, 23-22. But the Indians, playing well at the end of the season, you're 5-6, and a shot at a district title.
Yeah, we were keying up all year. We won that deep playoff run. We've been preaching it since day one, district title. And we're happy to be in the district game fighting for that championship.
Well, I'd say, J.C. Kiefer, we've had fun covering your football team. The Montoursville Warriors, you talk about a rebound after a tough, disappointing loss to the Loyal Sock Lancers for the Bridge. You bounced back, you beat Lewisburg for the second time, and you shut them down. You made some key changes that really helped shore things up for you.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the kids, the way they responded. We've had a long stretch. It's been a tough season. People don't understand the grind of a football season. we had a good year. It was a disappointing loss in week 10. However, I'm really proud of the kids, the way they responded the first week in playoffs, and I think we're just starting to play our best football at the right time.
Absolutely. Jimmy?
Coach T, exciting atmosphere when I come down to the Muncie practice field. You loved having us down there. The kids were excited. We knew heading into the playoffs you had a shot. Went up to Weil Easton and put together a great game. Give a shout out to some of your players that have done it for you all year long.
We had a sophomore, Coleman Good. He stepped up big. He had 12 tackles in that game playing safety, and he had a key interception with 140 yards on the ground and another 80 in the air. You couldn't ask more out of a sophomore.
No, he had a fantastic game. And on the defensive side of the ball, who really stood out for you?
Defensively, Hunter Powell has been setting the edge all year at DN. He leads the team in tackles for losses with 18 on the year so far, has 6 sacks added to that. You can't ask more of a junior DN. He's playing his best football at the right time.
And how about your linebacker play? It's been solid all year long.
Yep, we were returning 100 tackle guy last year from Malik Wortman as a senior, and we have a sophomore.
Malik was closing in on 200 tackles for the last 2 years. I didn't know if he got there or not.
He's close. He might be 1 tackle short right now. I think he's at 199, but we had another game, and I'm sure we'll get more than 1 tackle on Friday.
We need him to get up to about 215 up at Sarah on Friday night.
That'll be nice. I like that.
And JC, it's been a lot of fun watching your team develop, and unfortunately coming to a close is Bryson's career. Tell me what Bryson's meant to your program as number one as a quarterback, number two as a leader, and providing the stability year in and year out.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bryson was the type of kid that when we saw him as an 8th grader, we were getting him ready to be our quarterback, and it's been a fun ride. It's he's been a 3-year starter for us, which is just a blessing when it comes to an offensive minded coach. But I'm not thinking about post Bryson right now. We're really focused on getting another game, and we want to see how far we can go. He's been a tremendous leader. He makes all the players around him better, and most of my seniors do that. When you talk with kids, you've seen them in baseball.
I was going to say we've been fortunate to travel with them with baseball on different occasions, and they're just solid, good kids.
Right, those are the kids that you want the foundation of your program based on.
And not to stay on Bryson, but the one thing I noticed about his game this year is he's got a lot more arm, a lot more zip to get the ball out there. He's always had the touch, he's always had the mind.
Yes.
Now he has a little more zip.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. That is one thing that we noticed in spring practice right off the bat in June. He had a little different type of velocity on his football. When he came in as a junior after his sophomore year, we said the same thing. Oh, he's got a little stronger. This year it was, wow, we can really exploit some defense. We can do some different things. He's making some of the college type throws, those back shoulder, comebacks 20, 30 yards down the field. He's ripping the ball in there that you don't see many, high school quarterbacks do.
And you've got guys that can go out and catch it. Tom Shea having a phenomenal season, well over 1,000 yards, a shot to go over 60 catches on the year as you continue on. Let's talk about what you need to do this week, and then we're going to come back and ask Sean the same question. Danville playing their best ball. We saw them the other night. They put it to Loyalsock 34-7. Now, last time you saw them, you beat them 42-30. Were they healthy at that time? Did they have both of those running backs in Feldman and Hilkert?
Oh yeah, yep. They had both Hilkert and Feldman. That was week 3, so they had everybody. It was one of those. If you guys remember week 3, it was hotter than blue blazes. We had guys throwing up on the sideline. It was just ridiculous. You know what I mean? So, and it seems like, week 3 seems like it was last year. So, we obviously you go back and watch the film, but it was a really long time ago. Both teams have evolved since then. So, it's like 2 different ball clubs coming in. They're a big, strong, physical team. Their line is quick and dominant, and so we have to protect Bryson. But something that we've done here the last couple weeks is we've established a little bit of a running game.
Nolan Ott got you 100 yards against Sauk,
Yep.
and that was a real key. Even though you came up short of that game, you felt like you'd established something.
Yes.
Torrin Lewis had been solid blocking ahead of him or running when he had to. That was a big key. That's got to get a little balance for you, and then been able to stop that running game.
Yeah, definitely agreed. And Nolan came back with another 80 yards last week, and that's, we took a lot of positives, believe it or not, from that Loyal Sock game. Everybody, was telling me, oh man, we took a lot from that game. We had a lot to improve on, obviously, but where we've been deficient all year, we were doing better. On our defensive line and our running game, and those are two things we took from week 10. And if we can establish a little bit of a running game against Danville's defensive front, we're gonna be committed to it. We're gonna stick with the run. Everybody knows we're gonna throw the ball 20 plus times. It's just got to be timely passing. We still have to have that threat of being able to run the ball. And again, coming off of week 11, our defense had a shutout, and so that's really important. If we can tackle, you got Hilker and Feldman in
Right.
Danville's backfield that are just bruisers. I mean,
Yeah, they're tough.
Absolutely.
they do what they do, and they do it well. So if we can tackle them, they're going to get their carries, they're going to get their yards. But if we can, what was the score? 42-30. You said the first time around.
Yeah.
I doubt it's going to be that type of game. I think they're going to, grind the ball. I'd like to commit to the run a little more. I think the clock's going to be ticking, and I don't know if it's going to be that type of game. But if we can tackle and do something on the offensive front, I think we'll be in it.
Good luck. Let's talk Sean. All right, your ball club, Sayre, second time around. You lost a heartbreaker in OT, but you proved you can play against a really good football team. Now you get them again. You travel there. Let's talk about what the Indians need to do from the first game to the second game.
We established toward the end of the first game that all we have to do is stop that run. They have a great running back in Tyler Bellis, and our key is to stop the run. The sooner we can get him off the field, the better. We control the clock and we play our football, I think we'll be okay. It's one of those things. The best defense is good offense.
What is the key offensively for you guys? What you need to do, your strength offensively?
Our strength offensively is where we have three great running backs in Colby All-Paul, Coleman Good, and Mike Custenbotter, and have a quarterback that can run the ball, keeps defenses honest. You got to keep so many guys in the box, allow us to open things up, and our line's clicking at the right time.
I did your games when you played at Hughesville. What's it like coaching at Muncie, being a Hughesville guy? Do they kid you about that when you played them a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, you always get a couple of jokes from the old Hughesville friends, and
Yeah,
we
right.
worked in the community for years. You always get a couple of jokes about being across the creek a little bit now, and wearing that different color. It's always a little different.
Guys, we want to thank you for coming in tonight. We're enjoying it. Good luck. Let's get wins. Warriors, Indians, let's keep it going. And district titles coming up and a shot to move on into the PIAA.
Hey, and good luck to both of you. Great seasons, but I want everybody to keep on playing on, and we'll come back and do this again.
Sounds good. I
absolutely.
appreciate you having us. This is great. Really, really a good time.
Guys,
Thank you.
Thanks again for being here. We're going to take a timeout. Chuck Cruz has turned Williamsport football around with an outstanding coaching staff. And then on top of it, you got Chris Eisworth, a 10-1 Southside team that shut out the famed Mount Carmel Red Tornado 40-0. When we come right back, we're going to talk to those coaches. Rivals tonight, it's touchdowns and tailgates primetime live. Don't go away. You've known the name for more than 50 years. Alvarado Construction, offering extensive design and build services all over Pennsylvania. John Alvarado, now you're doing even more residential.
We've partnered with Scholl's Design, a residential architectural firm, offering designs out of their catalog. Also have the ability to do a custom design in-house for a client.
And a remodel, like the Kiss FM home makeover, a huge success.
That was a great project. Gave them a new kitchen in about 3 days.
Alvarado Construction for residential and commercial builds. We're back. And it goes to show you once again, you need more than 30 seconds between a commercial break to get big guys seated between breaks. All right, Gary Crispin, Jim Webb, Rivals, primetime live tonight, touchdowns and tailgates. It is a district playoff preview. With us, Chris Eisworth. And Chris, who's back coaching his alma mater, quarterbacked his club years ago. It's got to be a thrill You had Bragalone and company in those incredible runs, and now you've got a big line playing great defense, a big guy named Gideon Green, a young quarterback. You've got a whole bunch of guys just buying into your system. And I tell you, Jim Kaiser this last week from Danville gave you the ultimate compliment, saying, best team outside of Southern we've seen. He thinks if anybody's got a crack at Southern, it's Southside.
Well, I appreciate that, but I mean, right now, we are very proud of what we've done, throughout the year. We kind of, we start early in January, and the kids were working extremely hard, so we were very excited to see, what we could do, and at this point, to be 10-1 and to have such a great group of kids, it's exciting. But we play a great team this week in Wellsboro, and they're 11-0, so they haven't been bested. But
you talk about getting quite a draw. He's got to play Mount Carmel.
Jeez.
Then you turn around. You've got to go and play Wellsboro, that's undefeated. And then who's waiting in the wings is Southern Columbia. But you guys, South has beaten Southern before, but you got to get this win this week. What are the keys this week for you guys?
For us, it's a simple thing. I mean, I say it every week, and everyone asks me, and whoever controls the offensive and defensive line of scrimmage really has a leg up. That's the way we play. I mean, we like to try to control the ball, 6 years.
Ball team. Sport. You looked at now with your coaching and a great coaching staff. They've molded together. They're 10-1, making history at Billtown High.
Oh, we haven't quite made history yet. I mean, we're playing some good football, and that's attributed to the quality of the football players that we have in the building and on the team. The coaching staff is doing a great job, not to mention that we're able to get some great off-season work from a very good South team, and I get to take no small Ozzie here, you know what I mean? So there's no reason why, it's a real simple reason why we're doing this well. I'm just copying what Oz does.
Well, I'll tell you, Jim, let's talk to Chuck Cruz about, you talk about the success they've had, but loads of weapons all over the place. You dubbed it something the St. Louis Rams and said, greatest show on turf, and it's happening again.
Greatest show on turf, cherry and white version running up there.
Well, the question I have is what happens if we get on grass? Will we be the greatest show on grass?
Well, I think you will be, Coach.
All right.
But let's give a little credit to some of those big fellas up front. Why don't we give a shout out to some of those big guys that have been blocking, allowing Isaiah to do his thing and Mr. Potts to do his thing.
Well, it's kind of tough to single them out because a good offensive line works in unison. It's almost like a hand. You got 5 guys, right? And if you look at my hand, you grab any one finger, you could break any one of my fingers, right?
Absolutely.
But if you ball that fist up, and that fist now becomes one, better duck and cover, baby. And that's what we have with the offensive line when they're doing what they're doing. There's nothing sweeter than seeing guys double and work up to the second level and watching steps and watching hips and heads getting hold. It's a beautiful sight if you know what you're looking at.
Hey, I like Webb Weekly Live, and when Gary's doing your games, it's the greatest show on turf, like we said. It amazes me the speed and accuracy your kids have had in executing the offense in the first half.
That's been the big change for us. Last year, we made a habit of coming out flat. And we had to work out of deficits, and against really good teams, we were unable to come back from those deficits. This season, we've been firing on all cylinders from the gate, and we're reaping the benefits.
Absolutely. Coach Eisworth, how about you? Your big line. You definitely have controlled the line of scrimmage every game I've watched, whether it be live or whether it be Webb Weekly Live, Cable Sports Productions, PA Sports Live. Tell us about your big guys, your big horses up there.
Well, I tell you, they've really made a name for themselves. And I'll tell you, we take great pride in building an offensive line at South Williamsport, and I think it's one of the things that has enabled us to do some of the things we've done. And this goes back with Coach Charlie Ackerman, who's one of my great mentors, and now we have a guy who played for Joe Paterno at Penn State with Rich
One of my
Shulman.
Great mentors also, is Coach Ackerman.
Just so when you have tremendous people that are working with these guys, it makes it so much easier. And we've really kind of built a family and a great bond. And Connor Rattan's coming off an all-state season. Ben Johnson has just really become one of the fantastic linemen in the state. I really believe that. And
every week Ben seems to get better, and every week he seems to make a big play for you.
Yeah. And then you have a guy by the name of Griffin Metzger, who's a 6'2", 6'3", 270-pound junior who's just worked so hard, and Pat West at tight end, who's one of our lone seniors. That he's been a great leader of the team, and
Pat often gets forgotten about in the
he
home
really
base.
does. But boy, he sets that edge and reaches well and does some of the things coming down on linebackers. So you take that, and then you take a guy about 195 pounds who is just doing an unbelievable job with his name's McDermott, and I call him the Fighting Irishman. But
one thing's for sure, your turf over there would slow down Coach Cruz's guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The last time I was over there, I think I got lost.
I tell you, we were laughing about it in film today because Mount Carmel was like tripping and falling, and I said, man, Webb, he'd be getting a chuckle out of that. But no, I mean it's I think it's just part of how we play, and we embrace what we have. And,
absolutely. And both of you've done a great job of coming in and instilling the South Williamsport football tradition and culture. Absolutely wonderful job.
Yeah, and I will say, I don't want to forget about my anchor at center.
Okay.
Because Riley Barnes started for me as a freshman, sophomore. He's now a junior. So it wouldn't be complete without Riley Barnes and mentioning him and the great things he's done. But that whole group.
And then one more thing, Gary. Coach Cruz, you two sort of mirror each other. You came into Williamsport, and Williamsport football needed an identity. And you've provided that identity for Williamsport football. And I know you're a modest man, but the change it has made from Williamsport was going to show up and play football to Williamsport's going to show up and play with energy, enthusiasm, and win football games. How does that make you feel? And I know you're not going to give me much, but give me a little of your soul.
Well, what I'll say is that the change is that now that Williamsport is going to show up and make you play football. And if you don't play football, then you'll have the clock running on you.
Absolutely.
And that's just the mindset that the boys have adopted. But it only came about through hard work, and we're not where we need to be completely yet. We're still a work in progress. I'm still a work in progress. So any chance I get to learn something or to have a conversation with a veteran or experienced coach or even a veteran or experienced commentator, I'll take that opportunity and I'll share with the coaching staff. And they share things that they've learned with me, and together we're building this. That's why. So to give me all the credit is doing a disservice to a whole lot of people.
And I wouldn't do that, but no matter where it is, you have to have a leader, and you're the leader. And one last thing, Gary, you two and I was very impressed by this, and one of you can jump in. You two practiced together over the summer and did things, and when I heard about it, I thought, what a great thing for both ways to share the atmosphere and for you to compete against speed.
The Williamsport mindset of these great athletes.
Absolutely. Coach?
I'll just keep it simple and say that iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
So why would we not want to go against a very good football team? Let's see what we have.
And I talked to Athletic Director Hill and trying to get you a turf field like Williamsport, but he can't even get me a booth to announce the games over there, so I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with your turf field. But Gary, back to you.
I'll tell you what, before we go, all right, Chuck, you get a shot at Delaware Valley, a team that gave you your only loss, 49-42. The second time around, district title on the line. Let's talk big keys to the game, things you need to change up to come out on top, and what I feel is the biggest game in Williamsport High School since Gary Brown, 86 Eastern Conference title, what it means to return to glory in the program. That's what we're laying in there, and we're rooting on the biggest crowd in some 30 years to be there on Friday night as we're going to be there live. Tell me what you need to do to turn the tide on that Delaware Valley team.
All right, I'll break it down in three ways here. First thing is that we need to play better against the run. We have got to stop them from picking up 5 or 6 in first down and allowing them to do what they want to do on second downs. Secondly, we cannot give up the big play. They only completed 11 passes against us. 3 of them were touchdowns. Another 3 were critical third down drive keep-alivers. And last and most importantly, if you are physically able, if you're not watching Coach at South, we would like for you guys to be there to be that extra oomph that the boys need to get us over the top. Del Val's a very good football team. They are not going to beat themselves, and we're going to need every help that we can get, every voice, every cowbell, every finger snap, every foot stomp, whatever you can provide to excite the boys, we will certainly appreciate it.
Definitely want that 12th man. Chris Eisworth, now you've got to travel. Let's talk about your club. A shot at a very outstanding team that's undefeated, a team with a good quarterback that throws and runs the ball well. Keys to the game for South to bring it home and get to the next one.
Anytime you play a team that has as much success as Wellsboro's had over the last number of years, I mean, they know what it's like to win. So, you're going to be in a dogfight for 4 quarters. But athletically, they have a quarterback. He really reminds me of Datchers from Loyalsock. He's a little smaller, but very quick, very, sneaky in the ways he'll give you a foot, pull it back, and then take off down the field. So that's something we really have to control him, maintain him in the pocket, and hold him from making big plays, throws downfield. And, we have to get our running game going. I mean, we have to, move the ball, take chunks, and then take shots downfield because everyone plays man against us and puts as many people in the box as they can. Defensively, we have to tackle, rally to the football, pursue, and stop the big play. And special teams just play special. So, who's going to make the play on special teams? But that's basically how it is, and not turn the ball over.
One final word. Mount Carmel, you beat them 40-0 against a storied program, one of the top 10 in America, number 1 in Pennsylvania. What does it mean for South to throw up a goose egg 40-zip, beating Mount Carmel?
Well, we talked about it today at film session, and I'll lay it as simple as this. There's fantasy and there's reality. And right now, reality is South's built a nice football team, and we're proud of it.
Guys, congratulations. Chuck Cruz, Chris Eisworth, tonight, Rivals Sports Bar Grill. It is Touchdowns and Tailgates prime time. We're live, a playoff preview. Guys, let's go get wins. We'll see you coming up this weekend. We'll be back right after this timeout.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations. On an unyielding commitment to hometown values, an unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield, for fair deals. You're gonna love them.
You've known the name for more than 50 years. Alvarado Construction, offering extensive design and build services all over Pennsylvania. John Alvarado, now you're doing even more residential.
We've partnered with Scholl's Design, a residential architectural firm, offering designs out of their catalog. Also have the ability to do a custom design in-house for a client.
And a remodel, like the Kiss FM home makeover, a huge success.
That was a great project. Gave them a new kitchen in about 3 days.
Alvarado Construction for residents. And again, we're back. Touchdowns and tailgates here at Rival. Time live. It is a playoff preview. I'm Gary Crispin. Jim Webb is with me. My colleague for years, Babe Mayer, and Chris Massey of the Sun Gazette, who I think knows probably more about every local team. He covers them all. And Chris, of course, I've told you many times, do a great job.
I appreciate
in your high
it.
school football preview and everything you do leading up to the season. Let's talk about this. This has been quite a year. You take a look at, we've lived and died as you have through some seasons that have been a little bit rough, where teams weren't all that great around here. This year, everybody's pretty doggone good.
Yeah, I'm writing a column. It'll be in Friday's paper about how I don't like to be one of these people that says everything that happens now is the best ever. But I can't imagine there's been a better year than. Just look at the county: Williamsport, South Williamsport, Loyalsock, Montoursville. They're like a combined 37-7. It's crazy. And then you look at some of the individual performers: Isaiah Hankins, Bryson Musina, Tommy Shea, putting up numbers that we haven't seen in a long time. It's been awesome. And then Jersey Shore, Wellsboro. You go up north. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. Bay Bear, we go back a lot of years. You've been with Cable Sports 29 of the 30, and this has got to go down one of the exciting ones, but I think more than anything being Williamsport High grads. When Williamsport starts to win, it adds that much more to the excitement level, and we haven't seen this kind of excitement up on the hill for a lot of years. And I liken the game, Return to Glory, the turf, and everything that's happened. Probably the most important Williamsport game since Gary Brown, Eastern Conference, 1986, when they had the ability to draw 10,000 fans. I think that's going to be a key on Friday night.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about it. You know, I was working with some Williamsport players during the preseason, and they told me they had a shot at winning 200, hitting the 200th win. Okay, in the school's history.
Give me the 700th.
The 700th. I'm sorry, win in the school's history. I don't mean to cut them short.
No.
But and they told me that, and I'm going, wow.
That's 500 wins between friends, right?
They won't work out with me next year. You look at that, and I said to myself, boy, I wish you guys the best. You know, I said, but it's going to take some hard work, and to be honest with you, I doubted they could do it. Well, they've done it now, all right, and they're going into the playoffs, have a great game on Friday night, a game that was interesting the first time they played, and I think at this time around, it's going to be a little bit different, because the first game, Williamsport had to travel to Delaware Valley. That's a horrible bus ride, all right, for a high school team to make. This time, Delaware Valley has to take that same bus ride back, and I think the Millionaires have a good shot at turning that loss around to a win.
One more quick question for Chris. Chris, you've seen a lot. You've been covering for the Sun Gazette. What is it close to 17, 18 years?
17. Started in 1999.
Okay, you've seen a lot of great players, and I'm sure we can put together the Chris Massey all-time, all-century, and all-time list of the great players, which you've done some of that in the Sun Gazette. Let's talk about guys from these teams that you separate, and they become some of the greatest players that you have seen. Let's talk about some of the guys that impress you most.
Yeah, well, I mean, Williamsport, I think you start with Isaiah Hankins and Trayson Potts. Hankins is doing things at Williamsport that no quarterback's ever done. He's got 60 touchdowns now passing. He's run for 83 combined touchdowns. It's pretty extraordinary. The poise he's playing with, the leadership that he's showing, he's got the whole package. Trayson Potts, he's something special. I hate to compare him to Darrell Blackman. I'll just say that he reminds me of a sophomore Darrell Blackman when Blackman burst onto the scene and ran for 1,800 yards. Potts reminds me of that. Whether he ends up having a career or Darrell Blackman did, we'll find out.
And of course, you missed Gary Brown.
I wish I would have seen that.
And the amazing thing is, as we said, he just might be ahead of Gary Brown his sophomore year. Gary Brown is a guy, Tim Montgomery didn't play sophomores very much, brought him up halfway through at 800 yards. Those are a couple, and then we're going to go down to Jim. Anybody else that really stands out for you? You've got Messina, you've got a whole bunch of guys.
I was going to say Bryson Messina. He's tied for the District 4 touchdown record now. He needs about 90 yards on Friday to get the record. So he throws such a pretty deep ball, and just a good leader. One of the best pure passers I think I've seen in my time here.
A lot of great players, Jim.
Chris, I always enjoy your Tuesday columns, whether it's football, basketball, or baseball season, where you wrap everything up and rank the teams. And the commitment the Sun Gazette's made to local sports and that you have made is just tremendous. And I want to compliment you. It has helped area athletes get the exposure, get recruited. And it's amazing to me where we were lucky to get a all-state football, basketball, baseball player in the past. Now with everything working from the media angle, with the Sun Gazette and you keeping the statistics and making a push, it isn't, are we going to get one like it used to be? It's, are we going to get several? And the whole recruiting process, I thank you and the Sun Gazette staff for, because it doesn't matter if they end up playing at a D3 school or a D1 school. People got to know about them.
Yeah, and that's, I don't want to keep plugging what I'm writing about this week, but that's something else I touch on later in the week, is that a lot of times I think people forgot about this area. College recruiters kind of overlooked District 4, and they just thought small town. There's not a lot of talent there. there's a lot of great football being played here. There's a lot of great sports in general being played here.
Absolutely.
And I think I think the word is starting to get out that this area is pretty darn good in sports.
Now, when I knew the Lancers were in trouble against Danville? When I picked up the paper and saw you pick Danville.
I had a feeling.
I follow you over the years and your picks, and I don't want to say 90%. I might be right, but it amazes me how accurate from you watching and your knowledge of the game you are with the picks. Now, unfortunately for JC Kiefer, you have Danville going all through. But tell me from your standpoint.
That could change.
I shouldn't have said that, I guess. From your standpoint, how do you gather all the knowledge? Is it from doing it from so many years and seeing so many different players? Or I know the hours you must put in, but give me a little idea into your mind and picking the game to cover, writing about the game, and then at the end of the season putting everything together and ranking the teams.
I try to see as many teams as I can throughout the season. We cover 17 teams in this area, so it's hard, but the Montoursvilles, the Williamsports, the South, the neighborhood teams, I saw them each 3 times in the regular season. I like to try to get as much of a feel for every team as I can. When it comes to the predictions, it's sometimes hard with the teams outside the area, like a Danville, like a Mount Carmel, which Chris Eisworth knows. I butchered that pick last week, picking Mount Carmel to beat South. And
sorry, Chris.
And a lot of times it's just a gut feeling that I go with, and I just felt like Danville was coming on strong, and Loyal Sock coming off a huge emotional win against Montoursville. You wonder if they're going to be able to get that emotion back up for Danville. So stuff like that plays into it.
I want you to know if I was going to make book, and I'm not, you'd be the first guy I'd call for high school area sports. So.
Well, I appreciate it because a lot of people like to point out that I'm not as good at the picks.
Oh, wow.
So, I have good days and bad days.
Babe Mayer, you've been around here and watched a lot of things. I mean, what do you think about this season, what's unfolding?
Well, I thought this was really an interesting season. I did not see South Williamsport having the team that they had this year, and I think Chris Eisworth and his staff deserve a lot of credit for what they did. They really blew me away when I saw them play against your team, your son's team, Loyal Sock. And I thought that was great. I think the Millionaires, I did not expect them to only have one loss in a close game to Delaware Valley. I thought they would lose a couple of more games than that because they played some tough teams on their schedule and some teams they hadn't played before. They came out through with a great season, and as he talked about, the talent level that some of these teams had. It was really kind of amazing. So, I think a lot of things happened that was kind of interesting of how they evolved.
And I think you made a good point on schedules. The 6A, the going to 6A, I think helped area schedules. At first, I didn't know if it would. Chris, what do you think? First on that going to the 6 classifications.
I think for football it's good. I think you can always pick apart things that are right and wrong. I said at the beginning of the season, the one thing I thought they got wrong was in 6A, where a team like Williamsport has about 1,000 or so fewer students than the biggest 6A school, and that was what this new classification system was supposed to prevent, is those wide gaps. Overall, though, I think it's a good move, especially in football.
I think with so many teams having first-round playoff games, district games, I don't know if we would have had that without, but I do agree with you. Williamsport, that's a tough bracket, 6A. Babe, your thought on that quick.
Well, I thought it spread the talent level, the competition out a little bit.
Yeah.
We saw some really weak games in the first round, and I didn't like that, but I liked that it got more people involved in the playoffs with the 6 divisions. And what I really disliked the most was it moved Williamsport into the West Division. If they win this weekend, they go out west to play, and I mean to tell you, there's some big-time travel involved there.
The good news is first round game. We stay in District 4, and the question is, where might it be? Talked to Sean McCann today. They are looking at maybe Bucknell. Shamokin may be too far, or Possibly Montoursville could be another place that they could play a game. So, is that your thought on it, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, the best location, they won't do it because it's not a District 4 site, would be Central Mountain and or Lock
We talked
Haven.
about that. Jim and I
That's
talked
what I
about
thought.
that.
That's ideal, especially if it's state. If it were to be State College, that would make most sense. PIAA and common sense don't go hand in hand sometimes. So I would hope if it's Williams, that it would be Montour or Loyalstock or
The good thing
somewhere
is
close.
they stay away from the Whippeal the first round. You know, that isn't who you'd want to see the first round.
Absolutely.
And
it'd be fun to see down the road, though.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, when we come right back, we're going to hold the guys here. We're going to come back, get predictions, and get an idea if you think that do we have a team this year that might have what it takes to make that magical run and take a pretty good run that might surprise a few people. We'll talk about that. We'll get our predictions for the games coming up. We come right back. And we're at Rivals Sports Bar and Grill, brought to you by Fairfield for Fair Deals, Alvarado Construction. We thank the sponsors tonight. We'll be right back. This is Touchdowns and Tailgates, Primetime Live.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations. On an unyielding commitment to hometown values, an unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield. For fair deals. You're gonna love us.
You've known the name for more than 50 years. Alvarado Construction, offering extensive design and build services all over Pennsylvania. John Alvarado, now you're doing even more residential.
We've partnered with Scholl's Design, a residential architectural firm, offering designs out of their catalog. Also have the ability to do a custom design in-house for a client.
And a remodel, like the Kiss FM home makeover, a huge success.
That was a great project. Gave them a new kitchen in about 3 days.
Alvarado Construction for residential and commercial builds.
Did you hear that? It sounds like great new deals at Cups, your vacuum center. We offer new and used vacuums from all of the best brands, including Kirby, Shark, Dyson, Electrolux, Auric, Hoover, and many more. Got an old vacuum that needs repair? Trust that our service repair technician will get it working like new again. For bags, belts, filters, repairs, and sales, trust Cups Vacuum Center, located at 1001 Washington Boulevard.
And we're back. Rival Sports Bar Grill, Touchdowns and Tailgates, Primetime Live. You ought to see what it looks like trying to get the guy seated. He says, I got to put another commercial in, All right. With us from PA Sports Live, Jamie Spencer, Paul McGinn. Guys, we've had a fun time teaming up with you guys on Webb Weekly Live. 2 of the games you've been watching all season long. Everybody's enjoyed the streaming. Jamie, we talked earlier. It's amazing the number of folks watching and enjoying these games.
Gary, it's been a great regular season, and I'll tell you, I'm a little jealous that you guys got the call for this game this coming Friday, but
you wouldn't be jealous if you saw what we're taking out of our pocket to do it. Unless you want to throw some bucks in.
Jim's here. I'm not going to plug the paper, but I got something coming out in the Webb Weekly this week. I think it's worth the ride. But yeah, great regular season. I want to just, Paul and I, we've had a great time with it. And a lot of great things going, and I'm looking forward to the hoop season, actually.
Yeah, that's right. Paul, you know, you've seen a lot of big games, but you guys had a chance to do a game that was pretty wild, that Williamsport's only loss against Delaware Valley. Were you blown away by that game, and how good Delaware Valley was to continue to make Williamsport play catch-up, and Millionaires fell short? Tell me about that game.
Yeah, I believe that game, the Millionaires had a 14-point deficit multiple times.
That's right.
They kept fighting back. Delaware Valley proved to be too much there on the road for the Millionaires. And I tell you what, they have a running back. He's not flashy like a Trayson Potts, but he really gets the job done. One thing that I've liked about the Williamsport Millionaires and the coaching staff, they've made a few adjustments. They've put Kurt Daniker on the D-line.
That's right.
And that's made a world of difference. I mean, they had an opportunity to face one of the best rushing attacks in the state in Wyoming area.
Yeah.
They shut him down. What was it there, Doc? It was 60-some yards?
56 to 14 at the half, yeah.
Yeah, and they only gave up 60-some yards on over 25 carries that game. it's made a world of a difference. I'm excited for Friday night for sure.
It's going to be fun. Okay, now I think what we should talk about, we should do right now. You're ready to talk some predictions for the ball games coming up?
Absolutely, but
I'll start it with you down here, Jim.
All right, I just want to thank Jamie and Paul. Great job this year, boys.
Thank you very much.
The 2 games live streaming to 2 teams working. It was a lot to pull together, and I appreciate your dedication and effort. And we got our veterans, and we got our young fellas, and it's all working out good.
We're ready.
All right, predictions, Gary. Predictions.
Okay, let's go around the loop with these guys and get our predictions.
So we're going to start right here with Doc Massey, all right? And we got to start. Danville's coming into Montoursville. Danville wants to bring the leather helmets in and turn it into Warrior football of old, back when I used to play against Chuck Bowman coach teams, okay? The Warriors, high-powered offense, want to throw it around. We'll start right with you, and we'll go right down the line. What's your prediction?
Is the Montoursville contingent still here?
Jim, you might want to use that mic. There you go. There, Jim.
I picked Danville in the paper. I'm going to stick with it. But I love the way Montour played defense on Friday. That's a really good sign. But Danville's really coming on strong with that running game. And Peyton Riley kind of goes under the radar, their quarterback. He gouged them the last game. So I'll pick Danville in a nail-biter.
Now let's get a score. We want you to go out on a limb. We want a score from you guys.
Let's go. We'll say they go for a 2 late, 29-28.
Nice.
29-28. All right, let's go down to Jamie.
Definitely, J.C. Kiefer's still in the house, and he's a pretty strong lad. So I am definitely going to go with Montoursville. And the score, Gary, is going to be 34-28.
Yeah, the first time they beat them 42-30. So, all right, 34-28. We've got to mark these down, see how close. Paul, what do you think? Montoursville, Danville.
Well, I think both of them are coming off overwhelming victories last week. I think at home, Montoursville is going to prove to be too much. Bryson Messina, Todd Shea and company, I think they pull away late, and I think they win 42-28.
42-28. Paul, Babe, Mayer. All right, you're ready.
The man, the legend.
Hey, what do you think? Montoursville, Danville.
Well, first thing I think is that the worst people you can ask for a prediction are sports writers and broadcasters. And I'm horrible at it, but I kind of agree with Jamie and Paul. I think Montoursville has experience, and I think they have a good coaching staff that's going to know how to make the adjustments that's going to be necessary to slow Danville down. And I think it's good. The pressure's going to be on the secondary of Montoursville. If they play a good game, you can move people up on the line of scrimmage, stop that run, and make Danville throw the ball. And I think Montoursville has the ability to do it. I think it's going to be, let's say, a 21-17 game.
Wow, okay.
Nice.
All right, let's talk back to you, Jim. Let's go down and talk about Muncie-Sayre in a rematch of a game they played earlier. Let's start with Chris.
Muncie travels up to Sayre.
That's a good game. It was 23-22 Sayre in overtime the first game. Sayre's a little banged up. They lost Chris Ray, one of their best defensive backs. Tyler Bellis, a 1,400-yard rusher. He didn't play the second half, so it's hard to get a read on this game. I'm going to go with Sayre, 21-20. Muncie will win it next year. I get Muncie's going to be they're loaded for the next few years.
Coach T's done a real nice job with a young Indian squad.
Yeah, and I don't want him to beat me up, so I might make
No, I got you. I got you covered down there.
Good.
All right, Jamie. All right, Muncie-Sayre.
Muncie-Sayre, don't know too much about these two teams, but I did meet Coach T for the first time. Impressive guy. I liked him a lot. Don't ask me to pronounce his last name, but I'm definitely...
It's T.
Coach T. Definitely going to go with Muncie. I'm going to say 25-16.
All right, Paul McGinn, Muncie Indians, can they win the district title and go 6-6 and move into the PIAA?
Yeah, I believe it's Muncie's going for their first district championship since the 1980s, right?
That's correct.
And I think they avenge a early season loss at Sayre in overtime, and they win 24-21 in a thriller.
Nice.
Okay, Paul Babe Mayer. Now, Babe, what do you think?
Well, right away, I got to say that Jamie and Paul here are really learning how to be broadcasters because they picked all the home teams. All right, that's a good move. I'm not going to do that. I really think Sayre is going to win this game. I think Muncie's a year away, and I think that Sayre is a team that is kind of in position to keep the ball rolling.
Give a score. Give me a score.
I'll give you, let's say 28-14.
28-14. All right, let's go back to our next game.
We're going to go up to Jersey Shore. Selinsgrove comes in. District 4A championship.
Yeah, fourth straight year these two teams are playing in the final. Shore's having a great season. I think they've exceeded expectations with a really young team. Really good defense, but real susceptible to the pass. Logan Leiby broke the District 4 record for season yardage, and I think he's gonna be too much to handle. I think they win 28-14.
Gotcha. Mr. Spencer?
I totally agree with Chris. It's going to be a tough one for Jersey Shore. A lot of love for Coach Gravich and what he's done up there. But and Babe called me a homer. So I'm definitely going to get out of that one. And I'm going to say Selinsgrove's going to win 35-14.
Okay, Paul McGinn.
I tell you what, as Doc mentioned here, fourth year in a row that these guys have faced off in the district playoffs. I believe Jersey Shore won it in 2013, and Selinsgrove's won it the last 2 years. I think Jersey Shore gets some revenge this year. Beats Selinsgrove Seals 35-28.
Wow. Okay, this is where Babe goes, not so fast, my friend. And then you have to put the mascot head on. Is that you? Did you have the mascot head?
I don't have.
You forgot to get the mascot. I thought you had a seal head that you were going to put on, or bulldog head. All right, what are we going to do?
Well, I'm going to go with Paul. I think Jersey Shore is going to win this game.
Nice.
I think they're going to have a lot of the people that have been injured and out of games back in playing. And Selinsgrove is a team that when they play well, they're good, but they can also play bad. And
Jersey Shore might be a year away to be really good. That Shamori's a heck of a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what I like about Jersey Shore. They have a really tough line of scrimmage. And I think their defense is good. And, I think it's going to be a good game. And I'll go with a 14-7 Jersey Shore.
Wow. I guarantee you they're going to be throwing the blitz at Leiby. There's no question. All right, let's go back down. Let's talk South and Wellsboro this time.
We're going to go up to Wellsboro. Coach Eisworth's got his Mounties ready. The blue and white travel up there. What's going to happen, Doc?
I wish this game was Saturday. I would love to see this one. There's going to be some really sore football players after this game. Two of the most physical teams in District 4 this year. But I love the schedule South has played this year. They just answer one challenge after another. I think they're just so strong up front. I think they find a way to win a low-scoring game. Let's go 14-7 South.
Very nice.
I totally agree with Doc Massey again. And, I was up in Wellsboro earlier this week, and believe it or not, all the leaves are gone. And I just came up with that. But here it is. I like Coach Eisworth a lot, and I'm telling you, Southside's going to find a way to get it done. Low scoring, agreed. 21-10. South is going to win.
Okay, Paul.
I tell you what, the South Williamsport Mounties are a tough, physical football team. So is Wellsboro. Chris said here, this game is going to be a knock 'em down, drag 'em out fight. I think South wins a close one as well. I think it's going to be 21-17, and Gideon Green is going to do what Gideon Green does.
200-plus yards.
That's run for a bunch of yards and score a bunch of touchdowns.
Be a beast. He's a beast.
That's right.
Okay, Babe Mayer, what do you think?
Do you have the Mountie head? Do you have the Mountie head, Babe?
No, I'm not ready yet.
Chris, did you bring the mascot head for him to put on? Oh, we don't have that one.
There is a Hetner here. That's close enough for a South Williamsport mascot.
You got to have a Mountaineer hat or something, and an old Old Musket. What do we have?
Well, this is going to be an interesting game because you have a team that'll run the ball right at you. Smash mouth football. I love it. You know, as a defensive coordinator for years, I watched Alabama and LSU play last Saturday. That was the best game I've seen in years. All right, it wasn't that much scoring. It wasn't that exciting. 0-0 going into the fourth quarter. I can see the same thing happening. But I think the experience of Chris Eisworth and his staff going into this game is going to be the difference. And I think Chris is going to win this game, and his staff are going to win this game with the players 7-0.
Wow. I'm telling you.
No pressure, Coach.
Jim, we're not picking one, but I think South puts a lot more points up on the board than that in this game.
And I also think his wife Renee will have a heart attack if it's 7-0.
All right, Jim, now let's start it. I think we've covered 4 of the 5 games.
We got
and
one
now
more.
We've got that big one up on the hill. Let's start down with you.
We got Delaware Valley coming up to take on Coach Cruz. And I love Coach Cruz. Every time I want to grab my cleats, my helmet, and I want to go play, and then I think better about it. So let's start there.
It's going to be a barn. But the first game they played was, I love offensive football, so I was in heaven that day. It was just one touchdown after another, back and forth. I think it's going to be similar that way again. I just don't know how you slow Williamsport down. They've just got so many weapons. Their line is playing so well up front. Delaware Valley's got a 2,700-yard quarterback and a 1,200-yard rusher. It's going to be a barn burner. I think it's going to live up to the hype. It's at home. I think that's the difference this time. I'll go Williamsport 10-0. No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to be. It's going to be a lot more points than that.
I didn't even know Chris was funny.
I'll go 35-28 Williamsport.
Wow. Okay. What about you, Jamie? You've seen that Millionaire team a lot of times.
We have, and up there at Del Valle, I remember Chris and Paul and I, we actually had a little pregame meal at Taco Bell. Low budget, Gary, sorry.
Well, you guys roll large.
Yeah, we do. But, I totally agree with Chris. Again, I think the Millionaires will find a way. Coach Cruz and his coaching staff has brought the magic back. Hopefully there's going to be a great crowd up there, great atmosphere, SDA Stadium. I'm going to be there. I don't know if I'm going to wear my letter jacket, but at the same time, okay. But I really think it's going to be a shootout again, but this time the boys, they're going to tackle that kid, and they're going to hold him down. So we're going to go 38-20. Williamsport wins.
Oh, wow. Okay. Paul, what do you think?
Oh, I just told Coach Cruz and some of his staff that I have not shaved since the Delaware Valley game. I know it's No Shave November. I'm not a hunter. I'm just pulling for the Millionaires, okay? I think this game is going to be an absolute fun game to watch. Talk about offense. Both of them have tons of playmakers, really on both sides of the ball. I think the adjustments that the Williamsport coaching staff has made, putting Daniker on the line, freeing up Stebbins.
You moved Stebbins up there, that's right.
Yep, freeing up Stebbins, Johnson, Welch and company to give them a chance to make some plays. I think that's the difference. And I do think the Millionaires pull away late. 49-28.
Wow, okay.
Not even close.
All right.
Next up, Lee Corso.
Dave Mayer. Okay, here we go. Do you have the top hat and cane, or?
I know, but I have a fat wallet. All right, and I'm going to talk about my fat wallet here before we're done.
Okay.
Now,
Hey, you're not eting at Taco Bell before the games.
You're picking up the tab for all these guys
not
tonight.
as fat as Jim Webb's wallet. But Now, first of all, I want to tell Paul that, Paul, you're a good-looking guy. That beard's doing nothing for you, so I hope Williamsport wins. And
I'm not shaving it.
As far as the game goes, I think the trip plays a big role in this game. I think they got to drive all the way in here and play that game, and that's tough on a team. I've ridden on a lot of school buses on the way to games, and it never works out when you're going a long distance like that. So I think that's going to play in Williamsport's favor. And I think that Williamsport is going to show up. I think they're going to play well. I think the coaching staff is ready. I think the players are ready. The only thing I really need to know to give you a prediction is, are there ties in high school football?
Are there ties in high school football?
The NFL players don't even know that.
No, you're going to do 12 overtime.
Chris,
not in the playoffs.
Are there ties? No time.
You got to keep playing.
This game will be over around midnight, and I think that, the team that will win this game is going to be the Williamsport Millionaires.
Yes.
And I think the Williamsport Millionaires are a team of destiny.
Yes.
I think that
They're on
this
a
year
mission.
they're on a mission. They prove things. They've overcome every obstacle they've had to except for one, and that's beating Delaware Valley. And I really think it's going to be a big win for Williamsport. I'm looking at a score of something like 52-30.
Wow. Wow. All right. Final question down here, Jim. I know we've got to run very quickly. Any of you guys think somebody in our area, how deep can somebody go? Chris, do you feel that there's enough magic on the Hill or any of the other teams that can make a PAAA run like Southside made a couple of years ago, the Eastern Final? Or the Western Final, I guess, is where they played.
I think Williamsport is of all the area teams would have the nucleus to do it. They've got the playmakers to make it happen, the line to make it happen, but they got to get past Delaware Valley first. Never underestimate. This is why I'm a writer, not a talker. Never underestimate Montoursville. If they can get past Danville, you saw what they did against Southern last year, who won states 56-50. They could maybe upset Scranton Prep if it got to that point, and maybe they could do something too.
Okay. Anybody else have a feeling?
I got a feeling, I'll tell you, the Williamsport Millionaires are loaded. Like he says, they got so many talented guys on the offensive end. Defense is really starting to come around. It'll be interesting to see how they match up in terms of who they're playing, where they're playing, and all that jazz. But at the same time, these boys are rolling. They're playing with the passion, and the atmosphere is back. The magic is back. Whole lot of fun up there at the Hill, and I think they're going to make some noise here in the postseason.
I'd like to throw in there, Gary, that teams that make a win for a state title in football have the most solid quarterback play, in basketball have the solid point guard play, and in baseball have that number one stud pitcher.
Yep.
So I think when you're looking at teams to make a run to the state title, you got to start right with the quarterback, and right with our area teams. Is that seems to what happens when you get out into state play. So.
Guys, final word?
Well, you know, I really think that looking at the teams, I just want to say before I make my statement here, I guess this is a statement, but you know,
he's normally in bed by 7:30. I just want you to know that. This is it. I promised him dinner. That's the only reason he's here tonight. Maybe a couple beers when we're finished. Go ahead.
And then I'll be in bed at 7:30. But you know, I think we've had some great players. We've talked about them. I think we really have some good coaching staffs, all right, around the area right now. I mean, I don't know if I've seen in a long time so many schools, and we're looking at a lot of them right here, that have really solid coaching staffs. And I think for that reason, a lot of things that could surprise us. I think the Millionaires have a great shot because they're going out west and people don't know them out west. They don't know how good they are.
Yep,
and I think they're going to look at Williamsport. We can beat Williamsport. You know, they're not that good. They have no clue. Right? I think that South, all right, has a coaching staff that knows how to coach deep into the playoffs. They've done it before. If we can just keep those darn parochial schools out of the mix, all right, you know, I think South has a good shot.
Of course, and Jim Kaiser of Danville said last week, if anybody can beat Southern, he feels South is the team that can do it. You got to win this week, but he feels South could move on, beat Southern, move on.
And that's the thing I was going to say. Their biggest hurdle, I think, for South is going to be the next game against Southern. I think that if they get by that, I think they're going to be in good.
Make pretty good run. Paul, final. Okay.
And I want to tell you what, Montoursville, I agree with what Jamie said. Somehow they know how to put it together in the playoffs. So Montoursville is also a good team to run it through. Hey, you know, it's a dog fight right now, and we got a lot of dogs in the fight.
Oh, do you see anybody making a run?
Yeah, there's so many teams that are able to make a run that you hate to single out just one, but for the sake of time, you have to talk about the Millionaires. Coach Cruz and company have done a great job getting these kids to buy into the program, a team concept. That's what it takes to win. Yes, a good quarterback, but it takes a solid, well-rounded team, and that's exactly what the Millionaires have. They have too many weapons.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop them? Do you stop the running game? Well, then Hankins is going to pick you apart with guys like Jalen Jackson, Elliott Walker, Dante Wright on the outside. You stop the passing game, well, guys like Trayson Potts, Hankins, and Walker, Marty Clark, they're going to kill you on the ground.
Yep.
And then the defense has really stepped it up here of late, and that's going to be the deciding factor with Williamsport making a run, is how well that defense can play coming down the stretch.
Great point.
I'll tell you what, guys, I want to thank you. Jim, final word on your end. We've had fun doing it tonight. I want to thank Dale and Leanne Volman here at Rivals. Fun time. They've got a new restaurant, of course, out in Washington Boulevard. We'll be talking more about, and it's been a fun time here at Rivals.
My final word has nothing to do with football. I've enjoyed being with you gentlemen tonight. We live in the greatest country in the world. Tomorrow's election day. Get out and vote. God bless America and everything that our veterans have done, everything our military has done to allow us to come together and enjoy our freedom.
And I'll tell you one thing, we live in a great hometown of Williamsport.
We live in a great hometown.
That's why I've stayed here all these years. Proud of this town, proud of our region, our area. I don't care who the team is. I'm a fan of all of these guys. I root them all the way. And congratulations to the great run of our guys. Thanks for the coaches that have come out tonight.
Thanks.
For all our guys tonight, for Jim Webb, I'm Gary Crispin, saying so long until Friday night. Cable Sports and Webb Weekly Live, we are going to be doing Williamsport, Delaware Valley. It's live at 6:50 from STA Stadium. We're going to be pushing all week long at KISS FM to get the biggest crowd in 30 years since Gary Brown and the Millionaires in that historic game in 1986, Friday night. For the entire crew at Rivals, have a great night. We'll see you Friday.
Clap it up.
Over 30 years, one family of dealerships has grown to include 14 brands at 8 locations on an unyielding commitment to hometown values and unrivaled service, selection, and customer satisfaction for 30 years. Fairfield, for fair deals. You're gonna love us.
On first down and 10, they go to Potts, and there's Potts, 45-50. Potts going to run away from people. He's at the 20, the 15. Touchdown, Potts. Convoy back here, back to pass, looking for Shea. Shay's got his man beat on the dead run. Touchdown.
Let's driving to get that first down.
That's Green off that left side, big hole, 20-15, and down to the 13-yard line. Gun Shamori. He's got Guthrie next to him. Double wides each side. Rolling out. Shamori. Throwing down in the corner. The catch was made by Stanford.
Third and long. Play action. Going to throw across the middle. It's intercepted by Hunter Webb. Hunter Webb tipped it. He's going to run up to 10, and he leaps forward.